Stop. This is the moment. Not tomorrow. Not one day. Right now. Because if you keep living the way you've been living, you already know exactly where it leads. The same bills, the same worries, the same silent battles nobody knows about. But there's another path, a path from struggle to strength, from scarcity to abundance, from poverty to power. And in the next hour, I'm going to show you exactly how to walk it. Not in theory, not someday, but starting today. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, unless you're driving, and imagine the exact life you dream about. Not the "it would be nice" version. I mean the real one. The life where you're not counting pennies. The life where you wake up with energy, not dread. The life where your future feels wide open instead of caged in. Now, I want you to imagine this, that life is already yours. It's not locked away in someone else's bank account. It's not hidden in a lottery ticket. It's not waiting for permission from anybody. It's waiting on you. And I know, maybe that's hard to believe right now. Because if you're listening to this, there's a good chance you've been carrying the weight of struggle for a long time. Maybe it's financial debts you can't shake, bills that never seem to shrink. Maybe it's emotional feelings stuck, overlooked, like the world is moving forward without you. Or maybe it's spiritual, you've lost the fire, the sense of purpose that used to keep you moving. James Allen, over a century ago, understood something most people still miss today. The chains of poverty are built in the mind before they ever appear in your bank account. He saw that wealth, success, peace, and power, they don't start with luck. They start with thought. If your thoughts are weak, your life will crumble under pressure. If your thoughts are strong, your life will rise, even against the odds. Allen compared the mind to a garden. Leave it unattended, and weeds take over. Nurture it, plant the right seeds, protect it from pests, and it will feed you for a lifetime. And here's the key. Those seeds are your beliefs, your habits, your choices. Think about it. Every single decision you've ever made began as a thought, even the ones that didn't work out. The problem is, most people aren't the gardeners of their own mind. They're just letting whatever wind blows plant whatever seeds it wants. And then they wonder why the harvest is so bitter. That's what this journey is about, taking back control of your garden, pulling out the weeds, planting seeds of discipline, courage, and vision. Because while the world outside you might feel chaotic, the one thing you can control is you. This audiobook-style journey isn't just about reading old wisdom. It's about translating it into action you can take today in your job, your business, your relationships, your money. I'm going to share James Allen's principles, but I'm also going to show you how to live them right now in a modern world full of distractions, quick fixes, and temptations to quit. But first, I need you to do something for me. For the next hour, I want you to be all in, not half listening while scrolling, not playing this in the background while you cook. Sit with it. Feel it. Let the words get under your skin. Because this is not entertainment. This is transformation if you want it to be. The truth is, you already have power. It might be buried under years of doubt, fear, or disappointment, but it's still there. And this right now might be the moment it wakes up. So, are you ready? Good. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Awakening. Every journey begins with a step, but a true transformation begins with a moment. A moment when you stop pretending, when the fog lifts and you see your life exactly as it is. No filters, no excuses, just the raw truth. Maybe it happens during an argument, when you hear yourself repeating the same old excuses you've been using for years. Maybe it happens quietly at 2 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, knowing deep down something has to change. Or maybe it's right now, with these words in your ears. For me, it came in a single sentence. Someone I trusted looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You are exactly where you've chosen to be." At first, I was offended, angry, even. Did they have any idea what I'd been through? The things I didn't choose? The losses I didn't deserve? But later, in the quiet, I realized they were right. No, I didn't choose every event in my life, but I'd chosen how I responded. I had chosen my habits. I had chosen to wait for things to get better instead of making them better. James Allen calls this the first great awakening, the moment you stop waiting for rescue and start taking responsibility. Because until that happens, nothing else changes. Think about it. You can give two people the same opportunity. One will build it into something incredible. The other will waste it and blame the world. The difference? Mindset. Allen teaches us something most people never want to hear. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. If your thinking is weak, your results will be weak. If your thinking is strong and disciplined, your life will rise to match it. This isn't some positive thinking cliche. It's a law just as real as gravity. And you've seen it. You've seen people with nothing but a strong mind climb their way to freedom. You've also seen people with every advantage throw it all away. Here's the hard truth. If you're still focused on what's unfair, what's missing, or who's to blame, you've handed them your power. And the longer you do that, the longer you stay stuck. Now, I'm not telling you life is fair. It's not. Some people start the race a mile ahead. Some of us start with weights on our legs. But the race is still yours to run. That's why this awakening is so important. It's the shift from why me to what now. When you ask, why me? You look backward. When you ask, what now? You move forward. This is the difference between living as a victim and living as the architect of your life. Let me give you an example. Two people both lose their jobs on the same day. The first says, "This always happens to me. I'll never get ahead." The second says, "This is my chance to finally start that side business I've been dreaming about." Same situation. Completely different future. The only difference is the mind. Allen writes, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Today, we might say, your mind is the CEO of your life. If the CEO is afraid, lazy, or indecisive, the whole company crumbles. But if the CEO is bold, disciplined, and clear, even a struggling company can turn into an empire. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think they have to wait for their situation to change before they can think differently. But it's the other way around. Your situation changes because you think differently. So, let me ask you this. If no one was coming to save you, what would you do differently starting today? Sit with that question for a moment. It might make you uncomfortable. That's good. Growth is always uncomfortable at first. Maybe you'd finally stop spending more than you earn. Maybe you'd start learning the skills you've been putting off. Maybe you'd cut ties with the people who drain your energy. The moment you make that choice, you've already taken the first step out of poverty, whether that's financial poverty, mental poverty, or spiritual poverty. I'm not telling you it's easy. I'm telling you it's possible. And when you truly wake up to this truth, you can never fully go back to sleep. Yes, there will still be bad days. Yes, you will still face setbacks. But you'll never again believe the lie that you are powerless. That seed has been planted, and once it takes root, it changes everything. Allen believed that the difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck is simple. One group waits for the world to change. The other changes themselves first, and the world responds. So here's your challenge as we move forward. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. There is no perfect time. There are only decisions and the actions you take after them. Right now, you are standing at the edge of a choice. Stay the same or awaken. If you choose to awaken to truly own your life, the rest of this journey will transform you. Because every law of success we're about to explore, every principle James Allen wrote, will hit you differently when you've made that choice. The choice to stop handing your power away. The choice to step into responsibility. The choice to rise. Your climb from poverty to power begins here. Not next year. Not next month. Now. So, are you ready to wake up? Chapter 2. The Law of the Mind. There's a truth that's so powerful. It can either build your life into something beautiful or tear it apart from the inside out. Here it is. You become what you think about most of the time. Not sometimes. Not only when you feel inspired. All the time. James Allen didn't just say this to sound poetic. He meant it as a warning and as a promise. If your thoughts are full of fear, you will live a fearful life. If your thoughts are full of strength, you will live a strong life. It's not magic. It's law. The law of the mind. Think about it this way. Every thought is a seed, and your mind is the soil. The soil doesn't choose what grows. It will grow whatever you plant. Plant weeds, you get weeds. Plant roses, you get roses. Plant thoughts of courage, discipline, and faith. You get a life filled with those things. And here's the danger most people don't see. They're planting weeds all day without even realizing it. They wake up and immediately scroll through bad news. They replay old mistakes over and over in their minds. They let other people's opinions define what they believe is possible. And then they wonder why their life feels so heavy, so hopeless, so stuck. Alan was clear. The outer conditions of your life will always match the inner condition of your mind. This means you can't keep feeding your mind junk and expect to live a rich, fulfilling life. It's like expecting to get fit while eating nothing but candy. Impossible. So here's the big question. What have you been feeding your mind lately? Be honest. Have your thoughts been full of fear? Or full of faith? Full of complaints? Or full of gratitude? Full of, I can't? Or full of, I will? Because here's the truth, your mind is listening. And it's taking notes. Your thoughts shape your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your actions. Your actions shape your results. If you change the thought at the top of that chain, everything below it changes too. This is why some people can start with nothing and rise to incredible success. They start with nothing in their wallet, but everything in their mind. They feed their mind with learning instead of gossip. They focus on solutions instead of problems. They practice gratitude instead of envy. And over time, the outer world catches up with their inner world. Now, I'm not saying this is easy, because here's the tricky part. Most of the thoughts you have today are the same thoughts you had yesterday. Your mind runs on habits, just like your body does. If you've been thinking small for years, thinking big will feel uncomfortable at first. If you've been thinking like a victim, thinking like a leader will feel strange. But that's okay. Growth is supposed to feel strange at first. Let me give you an example. Imagine a man who has always believed, people like me never get ahead. That thought has shaped every decision he's ever made. He's passed on opportunities. He's avoided challenges. He's played small to avoid failure. One day, he hears someone say, "Why not you?" It shakes him. For the first time, he challenges his belief. He plants a new seed. Maybe I can win. At first, it feels like a lie, but he keeps planting it. He waters it with action, and slowly, his life starts to shift. That's the law of the mind at work. So how do you apply it? Here's a simple starting point. Catch the weeds. Pay attention to your thoughts. Every time you catch yourself thinking something weak, small, or fearful, stop. Say to yourself, "That's a weed," and replace it with something strong and true. Plant daily. You can't just pull weeds, you have to plant flowers. This means reading books that build you, listening to voices that inspire you, speaking words that empower you. Protect your garden. Don't let toxic people, negative news, or your own past mistakes flood your mind. Be intentional about what you let in. Remember, you are not a prisoner of your thoughts. You are the gardener, and the garden will grow whatever you choose to plant. Now, here's the part Alan really wanted us to understand. Your thoughts don't just shape your mood, they shape your destiny. The person you will be in 5 years is already living in your mind right now. If you fill that mind with fear, you'll meet a fearful version of yourself. If you fill it with courage and discipline, you'll meet a powerful version of yourself. So, which version are you growing? Because here's the truth, the law of the mind is always working. The only question is, are you working with it or against it? As we move into the next chapter, we're going to talk about the first victory you must win before you can win anything else. And that victory is not out in the world. It's in here, inside you. But before we go there, I want you to answer this. Right now, in this moment, what seeds will you plant in your mind today, knowing they will grow into the life you live tomorrow? Chapter 3, Self-Control, the First Victory. Before you can conquer the world, you have to conquer yourself. And I know that sounds simple, too simple, but here's the truth. James Allen understood, and most people never do. You will never rise higher than your ability to control yourself. Because no matter how much knowledge you have, no matter how many opportunities you get, if you can't master your moods, your habits, and your impulses, you will sabotage yourself every single time. Think about it. How many times have you known exactly what you should do, but you didn't do it? How many times have you let anger, fear, laziness, or temptation steer you off the path? Self-control isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about building the strength to choose what matters over what's easy. Allen calls this the first victory, because once you win here, every other battle becomes easier. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two people starting a journey toward financial freedom. The first one can't control their spending. Every paycheck, they splurge on things they don't need to impress people they don't even like. The second one lives with discipline. They delay pleasure now so they can have greater pleasure later. 5 years pass. One is drowning in debt. The other is living with peace and options. The difference isn't luck. It's not even income. It's self-control. Now, self-control is not just about money. It's about your entire life. It's the ability to walk away from an argument instead of exploding in anger. It's the discipline to work on your dream after a long day instead of losing hours to scrolling. It's the patience to say, "not yet," to opportunities that don't align with your purpose. And here's the hard truth. If you can't master yourself, you'll always be mastered by something else. It might be emotions. It might be habits. It might be other people's opinions. But you'll never truly be free. Allen wrote, "To be swayed by your impulses is to be weak. To resist them is to be strong." And in today's world, we need this strength more than ever. Because everywhere you look, there's temptation, fast food instead of healthy meals, quick cash schemes instead of long-term wealth building, entertainment instead of education. The world will always hand you easy choices. But easy choices lead to a hard life. Hard choices lead to an easy life. So how do you build this first victory? Let me give you 3 steps. 1. Start small. Don't try to master everything at once. Pick one area of your life where you know self-control is weak. Maybe it's your spending. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your time. Then set a clear rule for yourself and keep it no exceptions. Why? Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your inner muscles. 2. Delay. Don't do. Self-control doesn't have to feel like punishment. If you want something, a purchase, a treat, a break, delay it instead of denying it completely. Say, "I'll do it after I hit this goal," or "I'll buy it once I save this amount." Delaying pleasure trains your mind to prioritize long-term gain over short-term thrill. 3. Stay accountable. Tell someone you trust about your goal, not to impress them, but to hold yourself to your word. Accountability keeps you honest on the days when willpower feels thin. Now, here's something important Allen wanted us to understand. Self-control is not a prison. It's freedom. Because when you can control yourself, nothing else controls you. You're not a slave to mood swings. You're not a victim of old habits. You're not constantly fixing the messes caused by your own impulses. Self-control puts you in the driver's seat of your own life. Think about the most successful people you admire, the ones who built something lasting, the ones who stayed consistent when others quit. Every single one of them had to master themselves before they mastered anything else. So I want you to ask yourself this: where in my life am I losing the battle of self-control right now? Be honest. Don't sugarcoat it. And then ask, what's one decision I can make today to start winning that battle? Because the truth is, no one loses the war of life in one day. They lose it in small moments of giving in over and over until it becomes a habit. And the same is true for victory. You win it in small moments of choosing strength over and over until that becomes a habit. Allen believed that a person who can rule their own spirit is greater than one who conquers a city. Why? Because cities can be taken by force, but self-control can only be taken by choice. And here's the good news. You can make that choice right now. Not next week. Not when life calms down. Now, start with one habit. One choice, one small victory. Win that, and you'll have the strength to win the next, and then the next, until victory over yourself becomes your new way of life. That's the first victory, the one that makes all others possible. Chapter 4. Purpose and Vision. You've heard me say it before. Self-control is the first victory. But once you've learned to master yourself, there's a question you need to answer. Where are you going? Because discipline without direction is just exhaustion. James Allen was crystal clear about this. If you want to rise from poverty to power, you must have a purpose so clear, so unshakable, that it pulls you forward even on the days you don't feel like moving. And here's the hard truth. Most people have no real purpose. They have wishes. They have vague goals. They have, it would be nice if, dreams. But purpose? That's different. Purpose is not a passing mood. Purpose is the compass that points you towards your true north no matter what storms hit. Allen wrote, "Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment." That's as true today as it was over a century ago. Think about it. A ship without a destination will drift wherever the wind pushes it. Some days it might move forward, other days backward, but it will never arrive anywhere worth going. That's how most people live. They wake up, they work, they survive, they sleep, but they never aim. Purpose is what turns drifting into direction. The difference between goals and purpose. Now, goals are important, but goals without purpose are like signposts without a road. You can set a goal to make $50,000 this year, but if your purpose is unclear, that money will vanish into things that don't truly matter. You can set a goal to lose weight, but if your purpose is shallow, like impressing strangers, you'll quit as soon as the excitement fades. Purpose is deeper. Purpose answers the question, why does this matter? And when your why is strong enough, you'll find the how. How to discover your purpose. You don't find your purpose like you find a coin on the sidewalk. You uncover it. You build it. You choose it. Here's how Allen's wisdom translates to today. Look at your values. What matters most to you? Freedom? Family? Impact? Creativity? Your purpose will always align with your core values. Look at your strengths. What do people naturally come to you for? Advice? Leadership? Problem solving? Your gifts are clues to your purpose. Look at your frustrations. What problems in the world make you angry or restless? What do you wish you could fix? Your deepest frustrations are often connected to your greatest calling. Vision, the blueprint of purpose. Once you've identified your purpose, you need a vision. If purpose is your why, vision is your what. It's the clear picture of the life you are building. Not just in vague terms, but in details so sharp you can almost touch it. Allen compared vision to a master builder's plan. Without a plan, the building collapses before it's finished. Without vision, life falls apart in the same way. So, I want you to imagine your ideal life 5 years from now. Where are you living? What work are you doing? Who is standing beside you? What does your bank account look like? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Write it down. Don't filter it through realistic thinking. Write what you truly want, then work backward to figure out how to get there. Because here's the thing. A vision without action is fantasy. But a vision with action is destiny. Purpose and vision in action. Let me give you a modern example. Two people both want to start a business. The first says, I want to make a lot of money. That's their only reason. When things get hard, and they always do, they quit. The second says, I want to build a business that gives me freedom, lets me spend more time with my kids, and helps others in my community. When things get hard, they push through. Why? Because their vision is bigger than the struggle. That's the power of linking thought with purpose. Guarding your purpose. Once you have a clear purpose and vision, you have to protect them. People will doubt you. Some will mock you. Others will try to pull you back into the life you're trying to escape. Allen reminds us that you cannot serve two masters. You cannot be loyal to your purpose and to your comfort zone at the same time. Every day, you must choose. And here's the truth. Purpose is not maintained by accident. It's kept alive by daily decisions that align with it. That means saying no to things that don't fit your vision. That means avoiding people who drain your drive. That means making sacrifices now, so your vision can live later. Reflection time. So let me ask you, what is my true purpose? What vision excites me so much that it pulls me out of bed in the morning? What am I willing to give up to make it real? Write your answers. Don't just think them, write them. Because a written vision becomes a commitment. Alan knew that a person with purpose is unstoppable, and I believe the same. Purpose turns ordinary people into leaders. Purpose transforms setbacks into stepping stones. Purpose gives you the strength to say, I will, when everyone else is saying, I can't. Chapter 5. Faith in Action. Purpose without action is just a dream. Vision without movement is just a picture in your mind. James Allen made this clear. It's not enough to think, to hope, or even to believe. You must act. But here's where most people go wrong. They think faith is just positive thinking, a quiet confidence that things will work out. No, faith is a verb. It's not something you merely feel. It's something you do. The two sides of faith. Faith has two sides. The first is belief, the inner certainty that what you want is possible. The second is action, the outer proof that you believe it's possible. If you only have belief but no action, you have hope, not faith. If you only have action but no belief, you have work but no fuel. Real faith links the two. It says, I believe this is possible, and I will take steps toward it even if I don't see results yet. Why most people don't act? Here's the truth. Most people fail, not because they don't know what to do, but because they don't trust the process enough to do it consistently. They start something. They get excited. They hit the first wall, and they stop. Why? Because their faith was in the outcome, not in the process. Alan's wisdom tells us that if your faith is only alive when it's easy, it's not real faith. Real faith keeps moving, even when the road is uphill and the sky is dark. Faith is not blind. Now, let's make this clear. Faith is not blind. Faith is not leaping without thought. Faith is seeing the destination clearly enough to walk toward it, step by step, even when the fog hides most of the road. It's not recklessness. It's confidence rooted in purpose and vision. When you know why you're moving, when you've decided where you're going, you can take action without having to see every step in advance. The farmer's faith. Let me give you an image. A farmer plants seeds in the ground. He doesn't dig them up every day to see if they're growing. He trusts the process. He waters them. He protects them. He waits. That's faith in action, doing the work today, trusting that the harvest will come in its time. But notice this, the farmer doesn't just sit and hope. He acts. He prepares the soil. He plants. He waters. He removes weeds. Faith that sits still is not faith at all. Your faith test. So here's the question. Where in your life are you saying you believe, but your actions say otherwise? Maybe you say you believe you can be financially free, but you're still spending recklessly. Maybe you say you believe you can be healthy, but your habits say the opposite. Maybe you say you believe in your dream, but you're still waiting for the perfect time to start. Faith is proven by action. No action, no faith. How to turn faith into action. Take the first step now. Stop waiting for the big breakthrough. Pick one small thing you can do today that moves you toward your vision. Do it now, before you talk yourself out of it. Commit to consistency. Faith grows stronger with repetition. Small daily actions will build more momentum than rare bursts of effort. Detach from the timeline. Stop putting your faith on a deadline. Do the work because you believe in the vision, not because you demand instant results. Faith and fear can't rule together. Here's something Alan understood. Faith and fear cannot sit on the same throne. If you give fear the power to decide your actions, faith has no room to grow. If you give faith the power to decide your actions, fear begins to shrink. And the way to feed faith is to act. Action starves fear. Inaction feeds it. A modern example. Think about someone starting a new business. They've done the research. They believe in the idea. But fear says, what if it fails? Faith says, what if it works? The difference between success and failure here isn't the idea, it's which voice they act on. If they act on fear, they stay stuck. If they act on faith, they move forward, learning, adjusting, growing. Reflection time. I want you to ask yourself right now, Where do I need to stop waiting and start moving? What's one step I've been avoiding that I can take today? Write it down, say it out loud, and then take that step no matter how small. Faith in action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, your purpose and vision will remain locked in your imagination. But with it, you can turn invisible dreams into visible reality. Chapter 6. The Discipline of Daily Growth. Big wins don't come from big leaps. They come from small, consistent steps, taken every single day. James Allen knew this, and yet it's the part most people skip. They get excited about change for a week, then fade back into old habits. Why? Because excitement is easy. Discipline is not. But here's the truth. Without the discipline of daily growth, all the purpose, vision, and faith in the world will stay trapped in your head. The compound power of small steps. Think of a jar. Every day, you put in 1 coin. At first, it looks like nothing's happening. A week goes by, still barely anything. A month, it's only starting to fill. But then, you keep going, day after day, coin after coin. One day, you look at that jar, and it's overflowing. That's what daily growth does. The changes are so small, you barely notice them at first. But over time, they stack, they build, they multiply. Why people quit before the results come? Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they can't stay consistent long enough to see the reward. They plant seeds, but they don't water them every day. They go to the gym for a week, then stop. They save money for a month, then spend it all. They read for a few days, then get busy. Allen would say this is like a farmer abandoning his field before harvest. Not because the seeds didn't work, but because the farmer got impatient. The discipline mindset. Discipline isn't about doing a lot at once. It's about doing the right thing again and again until it becomes automatic. Here's how you build it. Start ridiculously small. Want to start reading? Commit to just 5 minutes a day. Want to start exercising? Commit to 5 push-ups. The size doesn't matter, the habit does. Track your wins. Mark off a calendar each day you complete your habit. Seeing your streak grow will keep you going. Never miss twice. Life will interrupt you sometimes. You might miss a day. That's fine. Just don't miss 2 in a row. Discipline is freedom. Some people think discipline feels restrictive. They say, I want to be free to do what I want. But here's the twist. Without discipline, you're not free. You're a prisoner to impulse. You do what you want in the moment and end up stuck with results you don't want for a lifetime. True freedom is the ability to choose your long-term best interest over your short-term mood. That's what discipline gives you. A modern example. Let's say you want financial freedom. Without discipline, every sale, every limited time offer, every flashy ad pulls you in. You spend without thinking. Your money controls you. But with discipline, you pause. You ask, does this align with my bigger vision? And most of the time, the answer is no. That decision, repeated hundreds of times, is what eventually buys you your freedom. The unseen growth. Here's what most people don't realize. Daily discipline changes you before it changes your results. You might not see your body transform after 1 week of exercise, but your mind is already transforming. You're becoming someone who keeps promises to themselves, someone who follows through, someone who trusts their own word. That change is priceless. Reflection time. So, ask yourself, what's one habit I can commit to every single day for the next 30 days? Something so small it's almost impossible to fail. Maybe it's reading 2 pages of a book. Maybe it's saving $1 a day. Maybe it's sending 1 message to build your network. Start there. Don't underestimate it, because the truth is, small things done daily are not small things. They are everything. Allen's warning. James Allen warned that without daily discipline, even the best intentions collapse. It's like a house with no foundation. It might look good for a while, but it won't last. Your habits are that foundation. Build them strong. Build them steady, and they will carry you through storms. Daily growth and identity. Here's the final secret. When you stick to a habit long enough, it stops being something you do and starts being something you are. You don't just save money, You become a saver. You don't just go to the gym. You become an athlete. You don't just read books. You become a learner. That's the real power of daily growth. It reshapes your identity. So as we close this chapter, I want you to remember this. You don't need giant leaps to change your life. You just need small, deliberate steps, repeated without fail. Because one day, those steps will take you somewhere you once thought was impossible. And when you get there, you'll look back and realize it wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It wasn't a miracle. It was discipline. It was daily growth. It was you. Chapter 7. The company you keep. You can be disciplined. You can have purpose. You can be filled with faith and committed to daily growth. But if you surround yourself with the wrong people, they will pull you down faster than you can pull yourself up. James Allen said it plainly. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. And here's the part most people miss. Your thoughts are shaped by the people you spend the most time with. The law of influence. You've heard it before. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's not just a catchy saying. It's a reality. If your closest circle is negative, lazy, and small-minded, you will start thinking, speaking, and acting like them. If your closest circle is disciplined, ambitious, and focused, you will rise to their level. It's not magic. It's environment. The slow drift. Here's the thing. Negative influence rarely destroys you overnight. It happens slowly. At first, you think you're just hanging out. But over time, you start agreeing with their excuses. You start adopting their habits. You start lowering your standards to fit in. And then, one day, you look at your life and wonder why you're stuck in the same place as they are. Choosing your circle on purpose. Allen believed that success and virtue grow best in good company. So if you want to rise from poverty to power, you can't just drift into relationships by accident. You have to choose your circle intentionally. Here's how. Audit your current circle. Ask yourself, do these people push me to grow or keep me comfortable? Seek upward influence. Find people who are where you want to be in mindset, character, and results. Set boundaries. If someone's presence drains you or pulls you off course, limit your exposure. The friendship guilt trap. Now, this is where a lot of people get stuck. They feel guilty for distancing themselves from certain friends or even family. But here's the truth. You can still love someone without letting them lead you. You can still care for people without making them your closest advisors. Your inner circle is sacred. It should be made up of people who strengthen your vision, not sabotage it. Energy is contagious. Think about it. Spend enough time with someone who complains all day, and you'll start seeing the world through their lens of frustration. Spend enough time with someone who dreams big, works hard, and speaks life, and you'll start believing bigger things are possible for you too. Energy is contagious, and whether that energy is positive or negative is up to you. A modern example. Imagine 2 people starting their journey to get out of debt. The first is surrounded by friends who say, "Why bother saving? Life's short. Let's just enjoy it now." They constantly invite them to spend money they don't have. The second is surrounded by friends who say, "I get it. It's hard, but you're doing great. Let's find free ways to have fun." They encourage them when the journey gets tough. Who do you think reaches financial freedom first? It's obvious. And yet, so many people expect to grow while surrounding themselves with people who don't want to grow at all. Reflection time. I want you to pause here and ask yourself, who are my 5? Who are the 5 people I spend the most time with? Do they inspire me or hold me back? Do they challenge me or keep me comfortable? Be honest, because your future depends on it. Finding the right people. You might be thinking, but I don't know anyone like that. That's okay. The right people don't always appear overnight, but you can put yourself where they gather. Go to networking events. Join communities of learners. Volunteer with organizations that align with your values. Read books and listen to mentors who speak life into your vision. The goal isn't to find perfect people. It's to find people who are committed to growing, just like you. Protecting your mindset. Until you find the right people, You have to double down on protecting your mindset. Limit your exposure to negativity, whether it's from people, media, or even your own habits. Fill that space with voices, ideas, and examples that lift you higher. Because the truth is, the company you keep will either speed up your growth or sabotage it completely. Alan's wisdom here. Alan believed that no one rises alone. We are all shaped by the influences we allow into our lives. And if that's true, and it is, then one of the most important decisions you'll ever make is who you let close to you. So here's my challenge to you. Look at your circle with fresh eyes. If you keep their mindset, you'll keep their results. If you want new results, you might need a new circle. Choose carefully, because the wrong company will cost you your vision, but the right company will multiply it. Chapter 8. Overcoming failure. Failure. That word alone makes some people shrink. Others avoid it so fiercely that they never try anything big enough to risk it. But here's the truth. James Allen understood. Failure is not your enemy. It's your teacher. If you run from it, you run from the very thing that could make you great. The lie about failure. We grow up being told failure is bad, that if you make mistakes, you're not good enough. That failure means you're not cut out for success. But think about it. Every skill you have today was built on a mountain of failures. You failed to walk before you could take your first step. You failed to speak before you could talk fluently. You failed to ride before you could balance on a bike. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. The only people who never fail are the ones who never try. Why failure hurts so much? Failure hurts because it exposes the gap between who we are and who we want to be. It challenges our ego. It forces us to admit we're not perfect. But here's the shift Alan would want you to make. Stop taking failure personally. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's feedback about your strategy. When you fail, it's not saying, you're not good enough. It's saying, this approach didn't work, try another. The bounce back factor, the difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck, isn't whether they fail. It's how fast they bounce back. Some people fail once, and they stay down for years. Others fail 5 times before lunch, and still keep going. Which one do you think reaches their goals first? A modern example. Let's say you start a business. You invest time, money, and energy. But 6 months in, you're barely breaking even. One person says, I guess I'm not meant to be an entrepreneur. They quit. Another person says, okay, what went wrong? What can I learn? How do I adjust? They pivot. The first person is done. The second person is just getting started. Same failure. Different response. Alan's lesson. Alan believed failure is only failure if it makes you quit. If it makes you stronger, sharper, wiser, it wasn't failure at all. It was progress in disguise. That's the thing the world calls it, failure. Winners call it feedback, turning failure into fuel. Here's how to do it. Feel it, but don't live in it. Yes, failure stings. It's okay to feel disappointed. Cry if you need to, but don't build a house in that feeling. Visit, then leave. Find the lesson. Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Sometimes the lesson is about preparation. Sometimes it's about timing. Sometimes it's about people. Take the next step immediately. The faster you move after a failure, the less power it has over you. Action is the antidote to discouragement. Document the process. Write down what went wrong, what you learned, and how you'll avoid repeating it. This turns pain into a playbook. The hidden gift of failure. Failure shows you who you really are. When things go wrong, do you hide? Do you blame? Do you fight? Those moments strip away the masks and reveal your true character. And when you see those truths, you can work on them. Failure will introduce you to yourself in a way success never will. The fear that holds you back. Some people don't fail because they're unlucky. They fail because they never start. They let the fear of looking foolish stop them from ever trying. But here's the thing. The people you're worried about impressing, they're not thinking about you as much as you think they are. And the ones who matter will respect you more for trying than for playing it safe. Reflection time. Think about the last time you failed. What did you tell yourself afterward? Did you say, I'm done, or I'll try again? Did you hide the failure, or did you learn from it? Now, imagine if you treated every failure as training, as a stepping stone, as part of the plan. How much faster would you move toward your vision? The long game. Alan knew something most people forget. Greatness is a long game. You will fail. You will be rejected. You will have days where nothing seems to work. But each time you choose to keep going, you are building resilience. And resilience is a form of power that no one can take from you. The choice. When failure comes, and it will, you have two options. Let it define you. Let it refine you. If you let it define you, it becomes the end of the road. If you let it refine you, it becomes the reason you succeed next time. So, the next time you fail, don't ask, why me? Ask, what now? Because failure is not the end of the story. It's just a plot twist. And if you keep turning the pages, you'll find the victory you were meant for. Chapter 9. Generosity and Service. If you want to rise in life, you must learn this truth. What you give will come back to you multiplied. James Allen believed this with every fiber of his being. He wrote that no one truly prospers until they learn to serve others. Because real wealth is never built by hoarding. It's built by helping. The poverty mindset versus the abundance mindset. The poverty mindset says, I need to hold on to everything I get because there's not enough. The abundance mindset says, the more value I create for others, the more value will come back to me. One is fueled by fear, the other by faith. And here's the twist. Generosity isn't just about money. You can give your time. You can give your knowledge. You can give encouragement, kindness, and connection. All of it matters. All of it returns. Why service is power? When you serve others, you do three things. You build relationships. People remember how you made them feel. When you help without expecting anything in return, you build trust that can open doors years later. You strengthen your skills. Teaching, mentoring, or helping someone forces you to sharpen what you know. You expand your influence. The more people you help, the wider your network grows. An opportunity loves a wide network. A modern example. Two entrepreneurs launch their businesses at the same time. The first focuses only on sales. Every conversation is about what they can get from the other person. The second focuses on value. Every conversation is about how they can help the other person win. 5 years later, the first is still chasing customers. The second has more referrals, partnerships, and opportunities than they can handle. Why? Because generosity builds loyalty. Selfishness builds walls. Alan's perspective. Alan believed that when you sow kindness, service, and generosity, you set in motion a chain of events that inevitably leads to your own growth and prosperity. It might not come back from the same person you helped. It might not come back immediately, but it will come back. The generosity formula. Give first. Stop waiting for people to help you before you help them. Go first. Give without keeping score. If you're constantly calculating whether you're getting enough back, it's not generosity, it's a transaction. Give consistently. Generosity works like planting seeds. One seed won't feed you. A field of seeds will. The fear that stops people from giving. I can't give right now. I don't have enough for myself. That's the thought that keeps most people stuck. But here's what Alan would tell you. Generosity is not about the size of the gift. It's about the size of the heart behind it. If you can give when you have little, you will naturally give more when you have plenty. But if you can't give when you have little, having more will only make you more protective and fearful. Giving beyond money. Yes, financial generosity is powerful, but some of the most life-changing generosity has nothing to do with money. It's the mentor who gives their time to guide you. It's the friend who listens without judgment. It's the stranger who gives you a word of encouragement when you're ready to quit. Service is simply this. Meeting a need you can meet. Reflection time. Ask yourself, who can I help today? What skill, resource, or encouragement can I give away freely? Where in my life have I been holding back generosity out of fear? Because if you wait until you have enough before you give, you'll never give at all. Generosity protects your soul. Generosity doesn't just help others. It protects you. It keeps you from becoming self-absorbed. It keeps you humble. It keeps your heart soft in a world that's quick to grow cold. And the amazing part? The more you give, the more you realize you already have. Alan's warning. Alan warned against the life of selfish accumulation, the life where you gather more and more for yourself. But your world grows smaller with every passing year. The selfish man may gain riches, but he will never gain peace. The generous man may give away much, but his heart will overflow. The long-term effect. Here's the most beautiful part. Generosity outlives you. A single act of service can ripple for generations. The person you help today might go on to help 1,000 more. When you give, you plant seeds in places you may never see. But those seeds can grow into forests of change. So here's my challenge to you. Before this day ends, find one way to serve or give without expecting anything in return. Do it quietly. Do it sincerely. And watch what happens over time. Because, as Alan taught, to rise from poverty to power, you must lift others as you climb. In the next chapter, we'll talk about the courage to stand alone. Because as your purpose grows, there will be moments when you must walk a path others don't understand. And when that day comes, you'll need the strength to move forward, even without applause. Chapter 10. The courage to stand alone. There will come a time in your journey when the road ahead will have no crowd, no applause, not cheering, no one telling you you're on the right track. In fact, you may hear the opposite. Doubt, criticism, whispers behind your back. James Allen knew this moment well, the moment where you must have the courage to keep going, even if you are the only one who believes. The loneliness of growth. Here's the truth. Most people won't tell you. Growth can be lonely, not because you want to push people away, but because not everyone is ready to walk the path you're choosing. When you start breaking old habits, when you start setting higher standards, when you stop living for instant gratification, you automatically separate yourself from the way most people live. And they will notice. Why people resist your growth. Some will resist your growth because it makes them uncomfortable. It forces them to look at their own lives. And they don't like what they see. Some will criticize you because they're afraid of being left behind. Others will simply not understand. And that's okay. Your vision was given to you, not to them. Alan's lesson here. Alan believed that the man or woman who walks in truth must often walk alone. Not forever, but long enough to prove their path is worth following. He knew that real strength isn't shown when you stand with the crowd. It's shown when you stand without it. The pressure to conform. The world will always try to pull you back into the comfort zone. Just skip your goals for one night. Stop working so hard you're missing out. Why don't you just be like everyone else? But here's the thing. Everyone else is not where you're going. If you want an uncommon life, you must be willing to take uncommon steps. And that means having the courage to say no, even when everyone around you is saying yes. A modern example. Picture a young woman working on her startup. Her friends go out every weekend, but she stays home to work late into the night. They tease her. They say she's too serious. They tell her she's missing out. Years later, her company takes off. She travels the world, financially free, living the life she dreamed of. Those same friends now ask her how she did it. She stood alone until her results spoke for her. How to build courage to stand alone. Anchor to your vision. If you don't know where you're going, it's easy to get pulled off course. Remind yourself daily why you're doing this. Expect resistance. Don't be surprised when people question you. Expect it and prepare your response in advance. Find a few allies. Standing alone doesn't mean being completely isolated. Find one or two people who understand and support your vision, even if they're not walking the same exact path. Silence is a test. Sometimes the silence is the hardest part. No validation. No good job. Just quiet. In those moments, you have to trust yourself. You have to believe that the seeds you've planted are growing, even if no one else sees them yet. Reflection time. Ask yourself, what is one area of my life where I need to stop seeking approval? Am I willing to move forward even if no one claps? What matters more, fitting in or fulfilling my purpose? Alan's warning. Alan warned that if you only move when others approve, you will never build anything great, because greatness, by definition, is uncommon. And uncommon paths are rarely crowded at the start. The reward of standing alone. Standing alone is temporary. It's the price you pay in the early stages. But when your vision becomes reality, when your discipline turns into results, the same people who doubted you will be inspired by you. Some will even follow you. And you will lead not because you sought followers, but because you were willing to lead yourself first. So, here's my challenge to you. Decide right now that you will not abandon your purpose to keep others comfortable. Decide that you will keep going, even if the road is quiet, even if the path feels lonely, even if the world doesn't understand, because your purpose was given to you. And if you walk it with courage, others will thank you later for not giving up now. In the next chapter, we'll talk about peace as power. Because true power isn't just about achievement. It's about the calm strength that comes from knowing you're unshakable inside. Chapter 11. Peace as power. When most people think of power, they picture force, loud voice, aggressive moves, the ability to push others aside to get what they want. But James Allen knew something deeper. True power is quiet. True power is calm. True power is peace. Because when you are at peace inside, nothing outside can control you. The world's noise versus inner calm. The world is loud. News cycles scream for your attention. Social media shouts for your reaction. People around you dump their chaos into your day. If you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life reacting to the noise, never realizing you can turn the volume down. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the ability to stay steady while problems exist. When the world is spinning, peace is standing still in your spirit. Why peace is power? Peace gives you clarity. When your mind is calm, you see things as they are, not through the fog of panic or anger. Peace gives you control. It keeps you from making decisions in the heat of emotion that you'll regret later. Peace gives you influence. People are drawn to those who remain steady in storms. They trust your leadership because you're not tossed around by every wave. When you master peace, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you can master your circumstances. Allen's view. Allen wrote that a calm mind is the source of great strength. Not because it hides from life, but because it stands firm in the middle of it. Think of a mountain. Storms can rage around it, winds can whip at it, but it stands unmoved. That's what peace looks like in a human soul. How to build inner peace. Peace isn't something you find by chance. It's something you create by habit. Here are 3 ways to build it. Master your reactions. You can't control what others do, but you can control how you respond. Pause before you speak. Breathe before you act. Create space for stillness. Every day, find a few minutes to be quiet. No phone, no noise, just you and your thoughts. Simplify where you can. Clutter in your environment creates clutter in your mind. Remove what doesn't serve you. A modern example. Picture a business leader in the middle of a crisis. Competitors are making noise. The market is shifting. Employees are nervous. Everyone is looking to them. If they panic, the team panics. If they stay calm, the team steadies. That calm doesn't mean they're ignoring the danger. It means they're leading from peace instead of fear. And that's why their people trust them. Peace protects your energy. Stress drains you faster than any hard work ever could. When you're constantly anxious, your body burns through energy like a leaking battery. Peace closes the leak. It allows you to use your strength for the things that matter most. This is why people who protect their peace can achieve more, not because they work harder, but because they work clearer. The myth of constant hustle. The world glorifies busyness. It tells you if you're not exhausted, you're not doing enough. But here's the truth. Exhaustion is not a badge of honor. It's a warning sign. Peace isn't laziness. It's focus. It's knowing when to move fast and when to slow down. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is pause. How peace helps in conflict. When someone tries to provoke you, peace keeps you from playing their game. They expect you to snap back to match their chaos. Instead, you choose calm words. You hold your ground without raising your voice. You win the moment without losing your dignity. That's the power of peace. It lets you win battles without even fighting them. Peace and decision-making. Think about the last time you made a big decision in a rush of emotion. Chances are, it didn't turn out the way you hoped. Peace creates space. It lets you step back and see the whole picture before you choose your next move. That space is where wisdom lives. Reflection time. Ask yourself, what situations steal my peace the fastest? Who or what do I allow to disturb my inner calm? What can I start doing today to protect my mind and emotions? Write your answers. Because peace doesn't happen by accident. It's built by intention. Alan's warning. Alan warned that those who live in constant agitation can never build lasting success, because every storm will knock them down. But the one who remains calm can see clearly enough to keep building through the storm. Without peace, power becomes reckless. With peace, power becomes unstoppable. The reward of peace. When you live in peace, your mind is sharper, your relationships are healthier, your decisions are wiser, and people notice. They'll trust you. They'll follow you. They'll come to you for guidance, because peace is rare, and rare things are valuable. But here's the greatest reward. Peace allows you to enjoy your success when you achieve it. What's the point of reaching the top if your mind is still restless? What's the point of wealth, recognition, and influence if you can't sleep at night? Peace makes all other victories worth having. So here's my challenge to you. Decide today to guard your peace as fiercely as you guard your money, your time, and your goals. Because peace is the currency that lets you truly enjoy all the other things you're working for. As Alan taught, power without peace is unstable. But peace is power. Chapter 12, The True Measure of Wealth. What is wealth? Ask most people, and they'll talk about money, a big house, a luxury car, an account balance with more zeros than they can count. But James Allen knew better. He knew you could have all those things and still be broke. Broke in peace, broke in purpose, broke in joy. Because wealth is not just what you own. Wealth is what you have left when money is gone. The empty rich. We've all heard the stories. Someone with millions in the bank, but their marriage is falling apart. Their health is in crisis, and they can't sleep without medication. On paper, they're rich. In life, they're bankrupt. Alan would say that wealth without wisdom is a burden, and wealth without virtue is a curse. The layers of real wealth. Let's break it down. Financial wealth. Yes, money matters. It buys freedom, security, and choices. Time wealth. The ability to control your own schedule instead of selling every hour. Relationship wealth. The people who love you for who you are, not for what you can give them. Health wealth. Energy, strength, and vitality that money alone can't buy. Peace wealth. A calm mind that allows you to enjoy all of the above. If any one of these is missing, your wealth is incomplete. Alan's wisdom here. Alan warned that chasing money without building character will leave you hollow, because money will magnify who you already are. If you are generous, patient, and wise, more money will allow you to be more of that. If you are selfish, impatient, and reckless, more money will only make those flaws more dangerous. A modern example. Picture two people who each earn $50,000 a year. The first spends every penny chasing the latest gadgets, upgrading cars they don't need, and trying to look wealthier than they are. They have no savings, no investments, and no peace. The second lives on less, invests consistently, builds an emergency fund, and spends more on experiences than on impressing others. They have time to see family, energy to enjoy hobbies, and the security of knowing they're prepared. Same income, different wealth. Why chasing only money is dangerous. Money is a tool, but if it becomes the only measure of your success, you'll trade your health, relationships, and peace to get it. And then one day, you'll realize you paid too much. The balanced pursuit. The goal is not to reject money. It's to earn it in a way that builds every area of your life, not just your bank account. It means saying yes to opportunities that align with your values, and no to those that would make you rich at the cost of your integrity. Building true wealth. Here's how Alan's philosophy applies today. Earn honestly. Never trade your character for a payday. Spend intentionally. Every dollar you spend should either bring joy or bring growth. Save consistently. Security is built over years, not overnight. Invest in yourself. Skills, health, and knowledge are assets that compound. Give generously. Generosity turns financial gain into emotional and spiritual wealth. The role of gratitude. You can't be truly wealthy if you're never satisfied. Gratitude turns what you have into enough and more than enough. Without it, even millions will feel like scraps. Alan knew that gratitude isn't just a nice feeling. It's a discipline. It forces you to look at the blessings you already have, instead of constantly chasing the ones you don't. Reflection time. Ask yourself, if I lost all my money tomorrow, what wealth would I still have? Am I building the kind of life that feels rich or just looks rich? What's one step I can take this week to grow my wealth in an area beyond money? Alan's warning. He warned that those who measure wealth only in coins will live small lives, forever chasing and never arriving. But those who measure wealth in character, peace, and service will find abundance everywhere they go. The true test. The true measure of wealth is not how much you have when life is easy. It's how much you can still give, still love, and still stand strong when life gets hard. So, as you climb from poverty to power, remember this. Money is important, but it's not everything. Build a life so rich in love, health, time, peace, and purpose that even without $1 in your pocket, you'd still consider yourself wealthy. That is the kind of wealth no one can take away. In the next chapter, we'll talk about your call to rise, the final rally to take everything you've learned and turn it into action, so your journey from poverty to power isn't just a thought, it's a reality. Chapter 13. Your call to rise. You've made it this far. You've walked through every principle. You've felt the truth in your bones. But now, it's time for a choice. Because listening is not enough. Knowing is not enough. Doing is what changes everything. The danger of stopping here. There's a dangerous thing that can happen after hearing wisdom like this. You feel inspired, but you don't act. You nod your head. You feel the motivation in your chest. You even tell yourself, yes, I'll do this. Then life gets busy. Distractions pull you away. Days pass. Nothing changes. In a month, you're back where you started. That cannot be your story. Alan's final challenge. James Allen believed that ideas are worthless without action. He warned that the gap between knowing and doing is where most dreams die. So this is your moment to close that gap. Not next week. Not when things settle down. Now. From poverty to power in your hands. You've learned how to awaken to your own responsibility. How the law of the mind shapes your reality. How self-control is your first victory. How purpose and vision give direction to your life. How faith in action bridges the gap between dreams and reality. How discipline and daily growth build momentum. How your circle influences your destiny. How to turn failure into fuel. How generosity multiplies your success. How to stand alone when needed. How peace becomes your greatest form of power. How to measure wealth the right way. Every one of these steps is a tool, but tools don't build anything sitting in the box. You have to pick them up. You have to use them. The excuse filter. Right now, your mind may already be whispering excuses. I'm too busy. I don't have the resources. It's not the right time. But here's the truth. The right time is an illusion. The only right time is the moment you decide. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll wait forever. Your first step. Don't overcomplicate this. Pick one thing from this entire journey that hit you hardest. One principle you know could change your life if you applied it. Then start. Today. Not tomorrow. Not after I finish this other thing. Send the email. Have the conversation. Make the plan. Cut the distraction. Whatever it is, begin. The momentum rule. Once you take that first step, take another. And another. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates results. Results create belief. But it all starts with the courage to begin before you feel ready. A modern example. Think about the person who decides they're tired of living paycheck to paycheck. They don't start by trying to make an extra $50,000 overnight. They start by saving $10 today. They start by learning one new skill this week. They start by making one call that could lead to a better opportunity. Small steps, every day. Until one day, they realize they've climbed the mountain they once thought was impossible. Alan's promise. Alan promised that the laws of life are as certain as the laws of nature. Plant good seeds, and you will get a good harvest. It may not happen instantly. It may not happen the way you expect, but it will happen if you do not quit. Reflection time. Ask yourself, what is my next step? Not in theory, but in action. When will I take it? What will I do tomorrow to make sure I don't lose momentum? Write it down. Say it out loud. Commit to it. This is your call. No more waiting. No more someday. This is your call to rise, to step out of poverty, whether it's financial, emotional, or spiritual, and into power. You have everything you need to start. You have the knowledge. You have the choice. The only question left is, will you? Your future self is watching. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. One version of you acted on this message. They are living in strength, abundance, and peace. The other version of you didn't. They are still in the same place, still fighting the same battles, still making the same excuses. Which one will you become? The answer is in what you do when this chapter ends. So here's my final word to you in this journey. Rise. Don't just think about it. Don't just talk about it. Do it. From poverty to power, the road is open. Walk it. The final word. You've reached the end of this journey. But if you've really been listening, this isn't the end at all. It's the beginning. Because the words you've heard aren't meant to live here in this recording. They're meant to live in you. What this was all about. This wasn't just about escaping financial poverty. It was about breaking free from every form of poverty. Poverty of thought, poverty of vision, poverty of courage, poverty of self-belief. We've walked through every principle James Allen taught, not as dusty old philosophy, but as living truth you can use right now. And along the way, you've been given the tools to build a life that's strong, peaceful, and abundant. The test now begins. But here's the truth. The real test doesn't happen while you're listening. It begins the moment you go back to your life. When old habits knock at your door, when doubt whispers in your ear, when fear tries to convince you that change is too hard, that's when you'll know if you're ready. Why this matters? Because your life is not just about you. Every choice you make sends ripples into the lives of others. The way you think, the way you act, the way you rise, becomes an example to someone else, whether you know it or not. Right now, someone is watching you, a child, a friend, a coworker. They're silently learning from the way you live. What will they learn? Alan's final lesson to us. Alan believed that every human being holds the power to shape their destiny, but only if they accept full responsibility for their thoughts, words, and actions. He didn't promise the road would be easy. He promised it would be worth it. Because when you master yourself, the world opens up to you in ways you could never imagine. Your life, 5 years from now, I want you to picture 2 versions of yourself. One took what you've learned here and acted. They practiced self-control. They built a vision. They worked daily. They kept good company. They learned from failure. They gave generously. They stood firm in their peace. And they measured wealth the right way. This version of you is living with freedom, strength, and purpose. They're proud of the person they've become. The other version? They listened, but they didn't act. They stayed in the same cycle. They're still tired, still stuck, still wondering why nothing changes. Both versions are possible. Only one is yours. My challenge to you. So here's my challenge. Before this day ends, decide your first step. Not tomorrow, not after things settle. Now, write it down. Tell someone, and do it. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. Because the moment you take that first action, you've already begun walking from poverty to power. Guard the flame. Motivation fathers. That's normal. It's discipline and vision that keep the fire alive. So revisit these principles often. Read them. Listen to them. Live them. Guard your mind from negativity. Guard your purpose from distraction. Guard your peace from chaos. Because what you guard grows. Leave your mark. The greatest reward of this journey isn't just what you gain, It's what you give. When you rise, help someone else rise. When you win, teach someone else how to win. Your success is multiplied when it becomes a bridge for others. The final word. You are capable of more than you've been told. You are stronger than you think. You have more power than you've been using. But that power doesn't live in someday. It lives in today. It lives in now. So arise. Walk forward. Build the life you were meant to live. From poverty to power. From limitation to freedom. From dreaming to doing. The road is open. And it's waiting for your footsteps. Now go. Not just inspired, not just informed, but transformed. Because this isn't the end. It's the first page of the rest of your story.